Rio Sanchez was born in Spain, a sunny and happy place. He had a wonderful childhood, full of love from his mum and dad. They were his whole world, always there with laughter and kind words. But sadly, when Rio was still young, his parents died in an accident. It left a big hole in his life. Rio was just a kid, all alone and scared. Luckily, Rio had his Uncle Miguel. He became Rio's guardian, keeping him safe and becoming like a dad to him. Life with Uncle Miguel was different, but it was still full of love. In the heart of a sunlit Spanish town, nestled between cobblestone streets and colorful flower pots, stood Uncle Miguel's small, friendly restaurant. It was more than just a place to eat. It was a gathering spot for neighbors, friends, and families, a place where laughter and stories filled the air as much as the delicious smells of home-cooked meals. The restaurant was always alive with the sounds of happy people chatting, the clinking of glasses, and the sizzle of food being prepared in the kitchen. Plates of paella, fresh bread, and sweet churros made their way from the kitchen to the tables, bringing smiles to everyone who visited. It was a warm and welcoming place, where everyone felt like family, and every meal was a celebration of togetherness. Rio, still a teenager, spent many afternoons helping out in the kitchen. He learned how to chop vegetables, wash dishes, and set tables just right. But more importantly, he learned how to care for people, how a kind word or a simple gesture could brighten someone's day. The restaurant became his second home, a place where he felt useful and needed, even as he quietly carried the sadness of losing his parents. On his 13th birthday, Uncle Miguel decided it was time for Rio to try something new. He took him to a local jiu-jitsu dojo, a place filled with the soft thuds of feet on mats and the focused energy of students practicing their moves. Uncle Miguel explained that jiu-jitsu was a martial art that didn't rely on being the biggest or the strongest, but on using your mind and body together in clever ways. In jiu-jitsu, Rio learned that even someone small could overcome a bigger opponent by using technique, balance, and patience. The instructors showed him how to move with purpose, how to defend himself, and how to stay calm under pressure. Every lesson was a new challenge, but also a new opportunity to grow. At first, Rio felt out of place. The memories of his parents were still fresh, and he doubted himself, unsure if he belonged in the dojo or anywhere at all. He watched the other students with a mix of curiosity and hesitation, wondering if he could ever be as confident as they seemed. But as the weeks went by and he kept practicing, something inside Rio began to shift. With every roll on the mat, every new move he learned, he felt a little stronger. The discipline and focus of jiu-jitsu helped him quiet his worries. He started to believe in himself, discovering a strength he never knew he had. Jiu-jitsu became more than just a hobby for Rio. It became a way to heal, to find peace, and to build a new sense of purpose. Through every challenge, he learned not just how to defend himself, but how to face life with courage and hope, slowly finding his way in the world once again.
Hell yeah. I just gotta push myself even further. Oh yeah, I definitely got this in the bag.
As Rio grew up, he loved jiu-jitsu more and more. He wanted more than just practice. He wanted real fights. He started fighting in secret street fights, getting really good. At 17, Rio was a powerful fighter. He was quick and strong, and he won lots of fights. His name became known on the streets. But Uncle Miguel wasn't happy. He saw the anger and recklessness inside Rio, and he worried it would cause problems.
Rio, listen to me. Martial arts doesn't tribal beyond fighting. You understand you labite, but it can permit you fighting in the street.
He asked Rio to stop street fighting and find a better way, but Rio wouldn't listen. At 23, Rio was stuck. He still worked at his uncle's restaurant, washing dishes and serving food. It was an honest job, but it felt wrong, like he was meant for something more. One night, some troublemakers came into the restaurant. They were mean to the customers, messed up the tables, and threatened Uncle Miguel. Rio got really angry and fought them off using his jiu-jitsu. He fought harder than ever before. The troublemakers ran away, but there were consequences.
Get the hell out of here. Threaten my uncle again, I'll kill you next time.
Rio, I'm afraid. I'll have to let you go.
Wait, what? Why?
I've already told you, Rio. Martial arts doesn't revolve around fighting, and this is a place of business. Listen, Rio, I love you. I truly do, and I appreciate everything you've done, but I told you, no fighting. If you have to continue going this route, I have no choice but to kick you out.
Are you serious? Even after I protected you from those assholes. Uncle, come on. You gotta be pulling my leg here.
Uncle Miguel, though thankful, was very angry with Rio for causing trouble. He knew Rio's actions put the restaurant in danger, and sadly, he had to fire Rio.
This is some bullshit. Those bastards was trashing the place and he fires me for saving him. Fine, you know what? I don't need this.
Now with no home and no job, Rio found himself wandering the city's cold, empty streets. The world felt bigger and more unforgiving than ever before. Each step he took echoed with the weight of his recent choices, and the city lights seemed to mock his loneliness. He had nowhere to go, no one to turn to, and the nights felt endless. Hunger gnawed at him, and the chill in the air seeped into his bones, making him feel invisible to the world around him. Rio walked the streets, unsure of what to do next. He drifted past shuttered shops and neon signs, watching other people hurry home to warmth and safety. Every face he passed reminded him of what he'd lost: his family, his pride, and his sense of belonging. The city, once familiar, now felt like a maze with no exit. He knew he'd made mistakes, but he was too proud to say sorry to his uncle. The memory of their last argument replayed in his mind, sharp and painful. He missed the comfort of home, the laughter at the dinner table, and the feeling of being cared for. But his stubbornness kept him from reaching out, trapping him in a cycle of regret. He was lost and full of anger and regret. The nights were the hardest, when the city quieted down and his thoughts grew loud. He wondered if he'd ever find a way back, or if he was destined to wander alone forever. The weight of his choices pressed down on him, making it hard to breathe. One night, Rio met Kenji Nakamura, a tough teenager known for his brutal fighting. Kenji's reputation was legendary in the neighborhood. People whispered about his cold stare and the way he never lost a fight. He was surrounded by a group of followers, all eager to prove themselves, but it was clear Kenji was the one in charge.
Who are you? Some kind of drunk?
Kenji was everything Rio wasn't: calm, clever, and really mean. He had a way of reading people, of knowing exactly what to say to get under their skin.
So, you're going to drink yourself to sleep? Trust me, it doesn't work. You look like you could use a job, by the way.
Where Rio was lost and uncertain, Kenji was focused and ruthless. He seemed to move through the world without fear, and that made him dangerous. Kenji saw something special in Rio, a natural talent that could be used for bad things. He recognized the anger simmering beneath Rio's surface, the desperation in his eyes. To Kenji, Rio was a raw recruit, someone who could be shaped into a weapon, if only he could be pushed hard enough. He challenged Rio to a fight, a chance for Rio to prove himself and join Kenji.
Here's the deal. I can see the fire in your eyes. Let's see how your fists work. I saw you at that restaurant a couple days ago.
Okay, and what's your damn point? You challenging me, kid? Big mistake.
The offer was both a threat and an invitation. For Rio, it was a test, a way to channel his pain and anger into something tangible. The fight would decide if he belonged, if he could survive in this new, harsh world. Rio, hurt and angry, accepted. He felt like he had nothing left to lose. The crowd circled around them, hungry for violence, and Rio's heart pounded in his chest.
Round one.
For a moment, all his doubts and fears faded away, replaced by a single burning need to prove himself. The fight was fierce, raw, and desperate, with both boys pushing themselves to the limit. But before a winner could be decided, the police arrived, sirens blaring and lights flashing.
That's enough, you two. This fight is over.
They broke up the fight, scattering the crowd and dragging the boys apart. Rio was left breathless, his future more uncertain than ever, standing in the shadow of Kenji Nakamura. The almost fight with Kenji Nakamura was a big shock for Rio. He realized he was going down a bad path. He knew he needed to change, to find something better to do with his life. Rio decided to leave his hometown. He packed a bag, said goodbye, and took a train to a new city. He had a lot to think about and a lot to make up for. He found a job as a construction worker. It was tough work, but it was honest, and it gave him time to think about his mistakes. He knew he couldn't change the past, but he could try to do better. One day, Rio saw something in the newspaper that changed everything. It was about a big martial arts tournament with a huge prize for the winner. But the money wasn't the important thing for Rio. He saw the tournament as a chance to do something good, to make his uncle proud. He knew it would be hard, but he was determined to win, not just for himself, but for Uncle Miguel. He trained harder than ever, getting stronger and smarter. He studied other fighters, learning their strengths and weaknesses. This was his chance to turn his life around. While Rio trained, he heard some terrible news. Uncle Miguel's restaurant was in trouble and might have to close. Rio was heartbroken. The restaurant was so important to his uncle. Rio wanted to use the tournament money to help, but then he discovered a shocking secret. Uncle Miguel had borrowed money from a dangerous man to keep the restaurant open. Now the dangerous man wanted his money back and was threatening Uncle Miguel. Rio felt the pressure of his uncle's secret as he fought in the tournament. Every punch he threw, every bead of sweat that rolled down his face, was a reminder of the promise he'd made to his family. The weight of expectation pressed on his shoulders, making each moment in the ring feel heavier than the last. He wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for his uncle's legacy, for the restaurant that had been the heart of their family for generations. He fought with everything he had, each win bringing him closer to saving his uncle. The crowd's cheers faded into the background as Rio focused on his goal. Every opponent he faced seemed tougher than the last, but Rio's determination burned brighter. He remembered the stories his uncle told him as a child, about resilience and never giving up, and those memories fueled his every move. With each victory, hope flickered in his heart, and he dared to believe that he could change his family's fate. The arena lights seemed brighter, the air thicker with anticipation, as he prepared for the most important fight of his life. He fought against Quan, a Muay Thai fighter from New York, who was incredibly fast and skilled. Quan's reputation was legendary. He was known for his lightning-quick reflexes and unbreakable focus.
You ain't getting past me, my boy. You might as well pack it up and head home, son.
Round 2. Fight! Fighter 1, win!
As the bell rang, Rio felt a surge of adrenaline. The two fighters exchanged blows in a blur of motion, each refusing to back down. The crowd roared with every punch, but inside the ring, it was just Rio and Quan, locked in a battle of wills and skill. The fight was intense, but Quan won. Rio gave everything he had, pushing his body to the limit. But in the end, Quan's experience and speed proved too much. As the referee raised Quan's hand in victory, Rio felt a wave of disappointment crash over him. The dream he'd fought so hard for slipped through his fingers in an instant. Rio was crushed. His dream of saving his uncle was gone. He sat alone in the locker room, replaying the fight in his mind, wondering if he could have done anything differently. The silence was deafening, broken only by the distant sounds of celebration from the arena. For a moment, Rio felt completely lost, unsure of what would come next. But as he left, his phone rang. The sound startled him from his thoughts, and he hesitated before answering, fearing more bad news. The hallway was quiet, the world outside the ring feeling strangely distant and unfamiliar. It was a friend from home with sad news. The voice on the other end trembled as they spoke, and Rio's heart sank with every word.
Rio.
Yeah,
It's Uncle Miguel. Es dead.
Uncle Miguel had died peacefully in his sleep. The news hit Rio like a punch he never saw coming. Memories of his uncle's laughter, his wisdom, and his unwavering support flooded Rio's mind. The loss was overwhelming, and for a moment it felt as if the world had stopped turning. Rio was heartbroken, but he also felt a little bit of hope. In his grief, he remembered his uncle's words about facing life's challenges with courage. Even in loss, there was a sense of peace, knowing that Uncle Miguel was no longer suffering. Rio realized that his uncle's legacy wasn't just the restaurant or the family recipes, it was the strength to keep going no matter what. He knew his uncle would want him to be strong and live a good life. Looking at an old family photo, Rio found comfort in the memories they shared. He understood that honoring his uncle's memory meant carrying forward the values he'd been taught: kindness, perseverance, and love for family. With the support of his friends, Rio went home and reopened the restaurant. The community rallied around him, offering help and encouragement. Together, they cleaned, painted, and brought new life to the place that had once been the center of so many happy memories. Rio realized he wasn't alone. His friends and neighbors believed in him, just as his uncle had. It was a sad but hopeful new beginning, a reminder of love, family, and never giving up. The restaurant's reopening was more than just a business decision. It was a tribute to Uncle Miguel and everything he stood for. As families gathered and laughter filled the air, Rio felt a sense of healing begin. Rio Sanchez, the street fighter, found his true purpose, not in fighting, but in the warm, welcoming restaurant, filled with the smells of good food and the happy sounds of families. The kitchen became his new arena, where he poured his heart into every dish, honoring his uncle's memory with every meal served. The restaurant became a place of comfort and connection, a symbol of resilience and hope for everyone who walked through its doors. He was home. In the gentle hum of conversation and the clatter of dishes, Rio found peace. He knew that, though he had lost the fight in the ring, he had won something far greater: the love of his community, the strength to carry on, and a future filled with hope.